Hello my fellow readers. In this video I'm back with another volume of My Happy Marriage. This is such an enjoyable story, or series I should say. So for this volume, another step forward. After months of staying by Kyoka's side, Mio is finally invited to the Kudo family villa to meet her future in-laws. Far from receiving a warm welcome, however, she quickly discovers that her fiancé's mother, Fuyu, has no intention of accepting her as his bride, but Mio will do anything to make her engagement work, even if that means putting up with abuse from Fuyu while attempting to bridge the gap between them. Meanwhile, Kyoka heads to a nearby village to investigate reports of a fiend that stalks the night. So in this volume, much of it Kyoka is distracted trying to go and solve this fiend, and that is a whole other plot point that is obviously going to continue on in the series, and I'll get to him in a minute. So while he's away trying to solve this problem, Fuyu, who is Kyoka's mother, is horrible. I don't remember why it is that they end up having to go to his parents' villa, because I don't think it was just for a visit, because it seems like Kyoka isn't overly fond of his parents. He and his dad have like this interesting relationship. I think that was part of it. Okay, if we rewind back to the beginning, Mio ends up running into this guy on the streets. She's been out, I think, shopping, and I'm trying to remember if she was with Kyoka's sister or someone else, but she's been out shopping. She ends up running into this guy, and she thinks he looks a lot like Kyoka, and then it's revealed it's his father. And his father, I guess, looks very young, but he is very sickly, like he coughs a lot. I don't know what his illness is. I don't think they ever mentioned, like, I don't know if it was from overusing his power. I'm not sure. But I know that he's very ill, and that's why he gave the, I don't know, rulership, whatever it is, over to Kyoka, because he can't really functionally do it anymore. So I don't know if that is what made him sick, or if he has some other kind of illness. I don't know. Like, it's never explained. He'll just break into like coughing fits, and he has like a weak disposition. Like everybody says about how he looks like in weak constitution, but like he looks weak. So I don't know, mystery illness that I'm not really sure. I know if he uses his power, it weakens him further, so I don't know if the initial illness is from using his power, or if using his power just makes him sicker. I don't know. But from that moment, she runs into him, and then Kyoka is there, because like she was going to see Kyoka. Anyway, you can tell that there's like a strained relationship between Kyoka and his dad, but also that there is a fondness between the two, if that makes sense. And I don't remember if that's like where the invitation came from, but regardless of all that, Kyoka does, I think, decide to formally introduce. Are there shenanigans? I'm trying to remember if he was assigned to go back there, because all that was a while ago, and I'm like, wait a minute, was he assigned? Doesn't matter, but he's going to formally introduce Mio anyway to his parents, because you should if you're going to marry this person, and that is their plan at this point. What is interesting about this being the third volume, and I thought there was much more advancement at the end of the second volume, is that there is still this strained lack of communication style, I guess, between Kyoka and Mio, where she still like doubts that he cares about her or something, and I'm like, I thought you guys like had this discussion at the end of the last volume. But there's still like bits where, I don't know, she definitely has problems communicating because of her abusive past. But there was the potential for the trope of here of they have to share a room and there's only one bed, but then that seems to be dropped. But I don't remember them actually like talking about resolving it. It's just suddenly it's like, oh, it's a good thing we didn't have to actually share the same, and I'm like, but when did that happen? Anyway, that's beside the point. When they get to Kyoka's family residence, Mio is introduced to Kyoka's mother, Fuyu, who's miserable. And she's so disappointed in Mio, who she believes is this powerless, abilityless woman who probably is just after Kyoka for his power and money. That's what she thinks. And especially since Mio is technically from a family that is, fallen. So, yeah. She doesn't know that Mio has recently unlocked her power. She doesn't know that she is, what is it, Asuba? Is that the last name? That was her mother. She doesn't know that that's her family line as well. She's thinking more of like the Saimoris that were her father's family. So yeah, she thinks that Mio is, this horrible money-grubbing woman that is taking advantage of a situation. So, while Kyoka is called away to investigate this case, Fuyu makes Mio's life miserable. Like, she calls her to talk with her, and then, essentially puts her into servant's robes, and then starts being like, oh, well, you could help out and you wouldn't mind, right? Little does she know that Mio doesn't mind. She thinks that's her place in the world, is to be a servant, because that's how her family treated her for her whole life. Well, her family after her mother had passed, because her mother wouldn't have treated her like that. So, I don't know, it becomes very interesting. Fuyu becomes increasingly frustrated by Mio and the fact that she just, one, she does a great job at cleaning everything, and that two, she just accepts it. She doesn't ask questions, she doesn't throw a fit. She's just like, oh, you want the glass cleaned? Sure, I'll clean the window panes, I'll do whatever. Has no problem with it, just thinks that must be her place. She wants to get to know Fuyu better, she wants to talk with her. But there's also where, Fuyu will say something and Mio doesn't have the courage to say the truth. So, at one point she's, berating her about how she's not attractive enough for Kyoka. She doesn't have any abilities. And, inside Mio's head, she's like, my power, I just awakened to my power. I actually do have ability. But she won't say it. She thinks all these responses in her head, not snarky, but just like, oh, I do actually have that, but she's been so beaten down in life that she will not say anything. She just sits there quietly, which frustrates Fuyu even more. And I don't know, it's fascinating. It does end up building to a breaking point for Mio, where she finally is like, I get it. I don't think I'm good enough for Kyoka, but I will not leave him until he tells me to go. I'm going to be here for him. So, I liked that scene. I don't think that's a huge spoiler, because the relationship's got to build and grow, and she's going to have to find her voice a little bit. The other thing that's hilarious is she's just like, I think it was after the first day she gets done, working the whole day, and then she just tells Fuyu how impressive she is as the lady of the house, that she's impressed by the fact that she doesn't abuse the servants. She provides them with good clothing to wear, it's quality clothing. She never hits them. She's demanding, but not in a bad way. All these things, yes, it's not perfect, but it's funny that she's actually complimenting Fuyu on how she is, and is like, I want to learn from you, and the fact that you're able to do that. Because as Mio's been brought up, it's, very violent, abusive situations, where it's, you have to do whatever I say, or I will beat you. So that's incredibly sad, but also, it's interesting, and that's how Fuyu gets more disappointed, because there's nothing, that she can really say, because Mio just keeps, taking those punches, because she used to take literal punches, so she can handle people being angry, and it's just really sad. So the other point of that, we have this whole internal domestic situation going on over there, Kyoka's story, on the other hand, he ends up uncovering this secret organization that is trying to... They think they're going to bring about equality and awaken abilities in non-ability users. So there's this greater plot, obviously, that people are trying to get abilities for everyone, and I believe in that way kind of like overthrow the current system of governing. In the meanwhile, the experiments they are doing are extremely dangerous. So in this village's situation, almost like a zombie story, essentially, you had somebody that was infected and then bites somebody else and then they're infected. And there's also, I believe, like mind control going on, like somebody that can control people with their minds. So yeah, there's a whole other element too. I would say like the first part was read more like a monster movie kind of vibe, and then there's parts that are like a zombie monster movie kind of thing going on that Kyoka has to deal with, and threats to Kyoka and his home. You get to see his dad fight a little bit to protect his home. There's just a lot of like threats, and you do get to see Mio practice more with her abilities, and her cousin shows up because he is sent there to help with the situation. And that's when Kyoka's mom sort of realizes, oh, Mio's actually from a pretty good family, at least on her maternal side, and they've acknowledged her, and yeah, so that's fun. It was fun times. Again, this is very short, 159 pages, so it didn't take long to get through, but a lot of fun. I liked their story, and there were cute bits between Kyoka and Mio. Not as many, because like I said, Kyoka's often off doing the investigation, but whenever he is back, there's cute scenes. Like there was one where he just wanted to like hold her and like cuddle her. So there is still, I think this is odd too, like Kyoka is still coming to understand that his attachment to Mio is love, because he still doesn't totally get that, and Mio, of course, is totally attached and devoted to Kyoka, but I think she also doesn't understand that. But not only that, she doesn't feel worthy of Kyoka's love, so she doesn't think that in any way he could be falling for her. But of course, they're both falling for each other, and it's sweet and comforting, and I enjoy it. I enjoy this series. It's very good. And it always has beautiful artwork. It's just gorgeous covers. I love them. That's it for this video. Until next time. Bye.